Rico. All right. Hello, friends. Chris McMillon here with Autonomy Season 1. I'm here with Federico de Zamacona. Federico, how are you today?
I'm really good, man. I'm really thrilled and excited to have this interview with you.
Excellent. Federico, you are in Mexico City, yeah? It-
Yeah, in the big chaos here.
so, what is it you're doing there? Tell us about the shop that you have going on there.
Okay, so a little bit over a year ago, two friends and I decided to open a head shop, a smoke shop. So yeah, we just dive into everything we needed, and it was really basic at the beginning. We opened it close to our home, so we live like near each other. So we saw an opportunity to open one in this area because there is none, and well, we know a lot of friends and people that could benefit uh, from from that, and so we started from there. And we at the beginning we we put more work into it. Now it's a little bit lazy, but we're now like getting things done. Let's say to open a online, e-commerce. So
What is the name of your shop?
it's called Rey Gallo.
Ah, the King Rooster, yeah?
Yeah.
I love it. Got you. And you mentioned the online shop. That's interesting. I was going to ask you, what were some of the biggest challenges of starting up a physical brick and mortar business? And what would you say the advantages and disadvantages of having a physical shop versus an online shop from what you've learned so far from your experience?
So well, it grows like the amount of people that grows in a slow rate when you have it a brick and mortar store. So um, but let's say an advantage would be that here in Mexico, I think there's still like the culture of going and trying or seeing the stuff like in a physical way. Um, of course, there's a big market for uh, online sales and all that,
Yeah.
but many like to go and see the product for themselves and see the quality. And so also there's a lot of regular clients that go there on a daily basis, like, or not daily, but sometimes they go once a week or so. So that's also an advantage, and they they get to stay there for a long time. So we're implementing some different stuff. We want to put some kind of food or a place to stay more comfortable there. So um,
Do you mean like a lounge area with tables so people could hang out, maybe have a coffee or something? Yeah.
yeah, that's the idea. So um, also we want to create well like uh, I don't know the word, but so people know us, and when the laws change, we could see how to change into a uh, where you sell all kind of strains and all that, a dispensary.
A dispensary, yeah. So a licensed dispensary. That actually leads to my next question. What's the legal situation with cannabis right now in Mexico?
Well, it's heading towards legalization. That's for sure. But it has had some missteps because I think they want to do things more organized this time, because they gave some permits to some people to commercialize and use it recreationally and medically. So they took those permits that they gave from them, so they can, like, that was a down step, and now they want to let's say structure better, like they want to do it like Canada is doing it, because um, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Um, so yeah, I think it's gonna be legal in over a year or so,
Okay.
maybe a little bit less,
I mean,
around a year.
I'm thinking is, but when it's finally legalized, you will already have a reputation and a rapport for good products. So, I mean, I can only see this helping your business either way. And will it be difficult to get the permit to sell it, become a dispensary, or is that a completely um, different set of paperwork?
I think it's not gonna be that easy, but fortunately, I think we're well connected to the people that are making the change, or are really talking to the politicians and getting those permits. So I think we have a great possibility to have those when the time comes. Also, I saw some figures that says if Mexico, when it legalized the use recreationally and medically, and if they use it or they consume it like the Canadian market, uh, it can easily be ahead of Canada by a lot, and become like the biggest cannabis industry worldwide.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, why uh, why is cannabis? Sorry, I've got an ant on my leg. Why do you think cannabis was ever illegal in the first place? Since it's a natural plant that grows naturally and has been proven scientifically time and time again to have amazing beneficial effects on people. Why was it ever illegal? What do you think?
I think it became illegal when these big families or industries, like the pharmaceutical uh, companies, became to push the government in the US uh, and sooner or later they prohibited, and because Mexico, it's been like following all the steps that the US makes, like in a lot of ways. So when they banned the use of it. Eventually, although it was legal here in Mexico on the 20s, like 1920s or something.
Ah, I didn't know that. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they legalized it. Uh, they control the opium, marijuana, and some other substances, so they can. And I think they were doing fine. Like they weren't too organized doing that, but eventually they took power away from the big cartels. But then when the US asked Mexico politely, let's say, to do likewise, to ban it, it became right to the cartels the power, and the big war against drugs. It's a big problem worldwide. So
Yeah. And the war against drugs is, as you well know, a bunch of bullshit. It's just
yeah,
an excuse to, it's just profit for the prison industrial complex, really. And it's all about power and control. Um, yeah, very interesting. I didn't know Mexico just kind of followed along, because who knows back then what kind of agreements were being made behind closed doors. Um, I'm sure it's the same families that profited from making it illegal. But I mean, that's great news that Mexico, the whole country now, it's going to be legal. Yeah.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
think
It's
from
they
just
call
general pushback, I mean, the way I see it, this is because of the information age. People are starting to wake up and realize, hold on, this isn't bad. This is good. Why is it illegal? And so people are, I mean, this could be one of the small examples where maybe the people do actually make a difference. I don't know. What do you think?
yeah. I think the big information, let's say, uh, well, with the internet and all that, seeing other countries doing fine with the legalization, or having ideas uh, that have improved people's lives, and have not been implemented in, let's say, third world countries or something. People start to push towards those changes, because eventually many will travel to other countries and will experience those things, and they want to see those things happening in their country. And
Yeah, in the case of the states, it depends on the state. Some states it's
yeah,
legal, others it isn't.
because here in Mexico, it all started like the big weed industry. Well, they turned into weed or marijuana when a Mexican lawyer, s- well, he has a daughter who has a chronic illness syndrome that gives her like 400 seizures a day. So he started like this movement towards legalization, and he was the first guy here in Mexico to have a permit for buying CBD in the US and bringing it legally to Mexico.
Hmm.
So from there, it all started.
I heard the other day that it's the big pharma and the prison industrial complex that are going to be hurt the most by all of this, the legalization of cannabis, because yeah, people are going to stop buying their pharmaceutical crap, and of course, less people will be thrown in a cage for a victimless crime.
Yeah, but
Um,
I think they'll find a way to put them back in, or not them, but to put people in there. So
yeah, yeah. Now, Now it's thought crimes. That's the new thing, you know. They'll throw you in jail for making your social media status.
Yeah.
So this is the future. What's happening in China, it's going to be implemented in the West. People are saying, "Oh, it'll never happen here. It'll never happen here." Well, I sure hope that that's correct, and I'm wrong. But as we well know, China is the testing ground for the social credit score. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, and they'll find whatever, oh, you posted this, these words against the government, to jail. It wouldn't surprise me if it came to that. I hope I'm wrong, but that seems to be the trend. And as you well know from the history that we've been learning, the history that we were intentionally not taught, that it's all about managing the people. Speaking of which, how did you get involved with Autonomy Season 1 in Tragedy and Hope?
Well, I've been following Richard's work around 2 or 3 years ago, and well, I've been listening to lots of podcasts, and from there I've been searching other other people like Corbett or Mark Pasio or other guys. So I've been following real close because it kind of opened my eyes to see the big picture, and it also goes with my personality, I think. All those
You mean to say
interesting.
you're a moral, ethical, good person?
Yeah.
Yeah. It follows understands the principle of non-aggression. So that's great.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been probably lucky to find all this. Also, well, it all happened because I had enough of Mexico City and went to the beach to live for a few months. And I met a guy from, I think it's Florida or something, who is in Tragedy and Hope. Well, it's been in Tragedy and Hope for many years. And just talking to him, he recommended to take a look to that, and so from there it all started. And yeah.
Is there anyone in Mexico, a podcaster or website, or any researchers or journalists that are from Mexico and they do their work in Spanish that you could say do uncover the equivalent historical and current information that is that's talked about in the Corbett Report and the Peace Revolution podcast? Is there anyone at all that you know of, or even in Latin America?
No, I recently saw this Mexican guy who was talking about um, libertarism, uh, liberalism, or yeah, is it called
Libertarianism. Yeah.
libertarianism? So he was talking about that, and I see, I well, I've read something about uh, the trivium method and the quadrivium in one of the biggest, most renowned universities here in Mexico. It's called ITAM. Uh, this guy from a Greek guy, came and gave a conference about the trivium, the liberal arts, and those subjects like critical thinking. And well,
Was that before you had heard of the trivium through the work of the Peace Revolution, or after?
after, yeah,
Okay, so
after,
that's what, yeah, you heard, oh, hey, trivium, they're talking about the trivium.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So not many stuff. Well, I haven't looked for it too much because I found really valuable information through Richard's research and Corbett, and so my attention is now on them and not so much on Mexico. But I would definitely would like to connect to people that are doing that here in Mexico.
Well,
And
go further than Acapulco.
yeah,
What's going on down there? People who have taken the metaphorical red pill seem to be gathering down there and making things happen.
yeah, I haven't heard like anything about them rather than the event in Acapulco. So I was planning to go this year, but I didn't for some reasons. But maybe I'll go next year. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I believe it goes on every February. I've yet to go myself, but you're a lot closer there. How far from Mexico City to Acapulco would it take? About 8 hours, 10 hours?
No, by car around 3.5, 4 hours.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I didn't realize.
Well, yeah, it depends on the day and the hour because it can exponentially multiply by with the traffic.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine. Um, how are you finding autonomy?
I I have found it really helpful. Like I'm yet to explode those all those teachings, let's say, or
Yeah,
all that information.
yeah. Same
But
here. So much information so quickly. It's going to take us weeks after the course formally finishes to process it all. Yeah.
yeah,
I would imagine in your case, the marketing aspect of it all would be most interesting. Are you, do you have a website yet? I mean, are you going to try and get the online store up? Is that a immediate objective now, or is it actually already happening, or is it just an idea?
no, it's planned already. We need some money, but because we're not doing great, but well, I mean, the store maintains itself like really nicely, but to put more money into it, it's been an issue. But I think we will work that out. And yeah, we've talked about that many times over all the year, and I think now we're ready to do that. So with what I've learned in autonomy, uh, I think we'll get ahead of everyone that's doing this in Mexico. So
That's very
if we do it,
Yeah, that's really yeah, you found an opening in the market. You're a regular entrepreneur, and you said, "Hey, there's a need, you're meeting needs, so making everybody happy." I think that's great. So yeah, and we're going to meet in a few weeks at Red Pill. Um, yeah, it's going to be I'm coming in on the 6th. So you're going to have you been to New York City before?
no, it'll be my first in New York and in Connecticut also.
Yes, me too. I'm not going to New York. I'm going straight to Connecticut. It's a contradiction, isn't it? Connecticut, connect and cut. Which one is it? I've always made that bad. Connecticut. Very good.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see everyone there.
Yeah, it will be fun. What's your most immediate project in that you're working to get done?
Um, I think it'll be like personal, like to grow in thinking more critically and to learn. Uh, what I think it's the most basic things that I need right now, like getting things done or how to read a book by Adler. And
Oh, are you doing great books of the Western world right now?
I'm starting with how to read a book, so I might go there after.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a meeting coming up? I have that in my schedule for some reason. Great books of the Western world, and I was supposed to have finished the first book. Am I
I
wrong?
think it's been postposing,
Because
postponing.
I have not read the book. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's amazing. I didn't know. Yeah, and I mean, your English is amazing. I mean, for me to read something like the great books of the Western world or take that project on in another language would be, yeah, would be incredible. I have Cien Años de Soledad by Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Garcia Marquez.
I haven't read it, but I have it. I told myself I'm going to read it one day in Spanish. Um, yeah, yeah. It's a great, it's a satisfying project to read a proper classic literary piece in another language. You know, once you've done that, for me, it's very impressive for you to be taking that on.
Yeah. Well, but I'm like, let's say projects outside of myself. I think would be like, because I'm really into climbing. I want to see the possibility of opening a climbing
Yeah,
gymnasium.
cool.
So I have some friends that are really interested in that, and we have already a business plan, but we lack inversion. So
Um, what do you mean business gym? Or sorry,
uh,
climbing gym. What do you mean?
that uh, it has uh, like all the structure to climb indoors.
Yeah.
You can climb whether it's sports climbing or bouldering. Um, and yeah, I think it's growing because they just entered the Olympics, and they're about to open 3 here in Mexico City, and there are already many people like going and
That's
climbing.
really interesting. Again, I can see you. You know, you may be onto something with a market, and it's something you like. Um, my friends here in Texas, they've done something similar. Now, all they did was rent a trailer with the one device. It came with the trailer, and you know, it's about I don't know, 10 meters high. Does that sound about right? Um, 3 people can climb it at the same time, and they take it to different events, and they're doing very well. It's a healthy, fun activity for anybody. It's safe, you know, as long as you are attached, of course, to the cable. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I wish you luck on that as well.
Yeah, I think I have an opportunity, like a business opportunity also, like with something I really like. So
That's great, Federico. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
mm, no, well, other than being really grateful for this interview, and I really enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, same here, man. The next interview we do, we'll have to do in Spanish. Yeah.
For sure. Maybe I hope I'm ready to conduct it, like, so I can ask you questions and
Yeah. Um, my Spanish is actually very bad considering um, how long I lived abroad. But yeah, I'll be willing to try to do my best.
yeah,
All right,
man.
cool, Federico. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
All right.